I have chosen the best friend's brother as my anchor tonight. That sentence sits on my tongue like a map I'm only half brave enough to read. That night, just after midnight, I found a text on my husband's phone. It was short and cold. It said he was leaving. He had found someone else. My breath stopped. The room smelled of rain and old coffee. I stood in the quiet, and a fear I had kept in a locked drawer for years suddenly crowded in. The best friend's brother had always been a shadow in my life, a grown man with a kind face who spoke softly and never rushed. Marcus, my best friend Mia's brother, was older than me. He was freshly divorced, and I learned later that he carried the weight of a long marriage that did not fit him anymore. The plan for a quiet weekend at a lakeside cabin came from Mia, who wanted to test the air between old friends and new lives. I said yes, though my heart beat fast at the thought of him in the same air, of him listening and perhaps seeing me in a new way. My life felt good on the outside. I had a good job, I led big projects, and wore clean dresses and neat shoes. I loved my husband, Daniel, and I believed we grew together. Our dinners were predictable, and our hands found each other in the same places. I kept a calendar that held our plans and our promises. I kept a little safe in my heart where I saved soft mornings with the sun on the kitchen floor, and I saved warm evenings when Daniel would tell me about meetings and plans. But the safe did not hold all of me. There was a small space in me that longed for a slow, careful touch that was not about duty, but about choice. Mia and I talked of loyalty and of staying true when the world pushes us to the edge. I told myself I could be strong. I told myself I would be careful. The betrayal happened in a way that hurt more than I could name. Daniel packed his bag. He stood in our hallway and told me he had fallen out of love. He said there was someone else, someone new, and that our years together should end. I stood very still. The words felt like shards. I felt the room tilt. Then I saw Marcus at the door, carrying a small backpack and a look I could not read. He was a guest in our house, a man who had walked through many rooms in his life. He did not rush to leave. He stayed, and I felt a strange pull toward him. That night we sat in the kitchen. He spoke in calm tones. He asked if I was all right. I told him I did not know how to begin again. He listened. The air between us grew warmer, slow and careful, like mist that does not hurry to disappear. I knew what was happening, but I did not want to admit it. It was wrong, and it felt dangerous, and it felt almost holy. The next days stretched like a long road that did not want to end. I walked the dog along the lake at sunrise. The water looked clear, but it kept secrets just beneath the surface. Marcus woke early too. We shared coffee and quiet jokes. We talked about the weather and about our lives, about the way a long marriage can become a habit and not a choice. We spoke of loss and of trying to heal. I told him about the safe in my heart and how I had kept some things secret to protect the life I had built. He told me about his own failure to keep his marriage whole. He did not plead for a spot in my life, but his honesty braided itself into mine. The lines between friendship and something more blurred when we found ourselves alone with nothing but the soft hush of rain and the slow crackle of embers in the fireplace. There were moments of near touch, moments where my breath caught when his hand brushed mine by accident. The simple contact that seemed to say, "Stay." In the evenings we ate meals by the window. Outside, the lake wore a gray shawl of mist. Inside, we spoke in low voices, careful, and we shared a charge that would scare any who watched from the outside. My heart learned a new rhythm, a slow burring that loved the idea of a second chance, but did not dare to name it. If this confession has you on the edge of your seat, hit like and share because you will not believe what happens next. The fear of betraying Mia pressed on me. She would want truth, not blame, yet the truth would not be simple to tell. I wanted to tell her I felt seen again, that a part of me that I had forgotten could still feel the heat of life, but the cost might be too high. This was the heart of the story. I was a wife, but I had learned to live with fear and longing. I did not want to betray Daniel, yet I could not deny the quiet pull toward Marcus. Our conversations grew longer, the silences deeper. I saw in him a man who had learned the art of healing, who could tend to a broken heart without making it smaller. The more we spoke, the more I learned that love could be a second chance, not a final act. Not a romance built on wind and storm alone, but a careful choice to be gentle with another heart as it finds its own way back to light. I did not want to ruin what I had built, but I could not pretend that I did not care. The days passed with the two of us learning the shape of a future that might be possible, but would require a long road of honesty, of saying hard truths, of letting go of something I had once believed to be the whole of me. And then came the moment when I realized that the second chance was not in stealing a kiss or naming a new love, but in choosing to forgive myself for wanting more than a safe routine when life throws a crosswind. The truth began to heal me even as it burned. I told Daniel that I needed time, that I would not rush him, that we could both choose to be kind to the past and the future. I told Marcus I needed time too, not to disappear, but to grow into a path that would not drag others down. In the end, we did not decide to become lovers in a hurry. We chose to become honest. We chose to let the friendship with Mia stay intact, to honor the trust that had built the life we had, and to allow a second chance to arrive in its own time, if ever it did. The cabin gave us shelter and time, and the lake gave us perspective. The foamy white edge of the waves reminded me that life is always moving, never staying the same. I felt the sting of loss, but also the soft courage of healing. I learned that love can visit at the edge of a door and linger if both people choose to listen. I am not sure what the next chapter holds. I am not sure if I will be free to love Marcus in any way beyond friendship. But I am certain that I am able to claim a future that is mine to write, not the one someone else decided for me. If you crave more raw emotional confessions, please like, share, and subscribe. Your next chapter awaits. Emotional storytelling, forbidden love, second chances, mature romance, infidelity in marriage, love after loss, grief and healing, tenant love story, romantic narration, YouTube romance, healing through love, slow burn romance, older woman, younger man, heartfelt story, true feelings, emotional connection, faceless love, Olivia and Marcus, narrative romance, love found me.